The top 10 tech trends in 2023. As a futurist, it is my job to look ahead, and I do this every year. I cover all of these trends in a lot more detail in my books, my award-winning books on tech trends in practice and business trends in practice. But here are my top 10 trends for 2023. There is a lot more detail on all of these on my channel, so if you want to dive into any of these emerging trends, just subscribe. AI everywhere. 2023 will be a year where AI will become real in organizations. They will use it at scale to really change things. And in particular, this is facilitated by things like no-code AI, where anyone can use drag and drop interfaces to use it. And what we'll see is that organizations will create smart everything. They will create smarter, more intelligent products and services, but it will also augment pretty much any job and any business process. So this is a trend that will have huge implications on everyone. Parts of the metaverse will become real. So what we're talking about here is a more immersive internet. I don't particularly like the word metaverse, but what we will see is using augmented reality and virtual reality, and especially some of these technologies will come into the work environment, where we will have meeting environments where you can meet virtually, you can brainstorm virtually, you can co-create virtually. And we'll have more consumer engagement from augmented reality on labels, on product descriptions, and so on. And this will become real. So we're making very fast steps towards a more immersive internet. We will see progress in Web3, especially around using blockchain technology to create more decentralized services and products. For me, a really good example is data storage. At the moment, we're storing everything in the cloud, in huge data centers somewhere. If we decentralize it, we can use storage that people have left on their devices. We can encrypt it using blockchain, and we make it a lot safer and a completely innovative way of storing and accessing and analyzing data. The other thing around Web3 is that we will see NFTs, non-fungible tokens, to become more usable. We talk about utility NFTs that add more value. Think about tickets to concerts, for example, that give you backstage access and access to memorabilia and other things. So this is something we will see more of in 2023. We will see a bridging of the digital and the physical world. For me, two components here: digital twin technology and 3D printing. What we will be able to do is to create virtual replicas of physical items, be this cars or entire buildings or machinery. And we can then tweak these. We see this in Formula One, for example, where they now have a digital version of their race car. They will try it out on virtual race tracks. They then tweak little components, trying them out in the digital wind tunnel, on the digital twin of the track to see if it's working. And if it does, they press a button and they 3D print that component in the real world. So we're seeing more of this bridging between digital and physical. We will see an increasingly editable nature. We now have technology like CRISPR-Cas9, so the gene editing technology that works a bit like a word processor, where you can take words out and add others in. You can now do this with genes. This is enabling us to augment nature. We can change plants, we can even change the inheritable components of us as humans. We can change eye colors, genders, make us stronger. And we see similar technology being applied in nanotechnology, where we change the nature and how materials work, for example. We can change their strength and so on. So we will see an increasingly editable nature where we can play God basically and change things in plants and humans and in material. We'll make quantum progress. What we're seeing at the moment is that there's a big race going on around quantum computers. They basically promise to give us computing power that is 1 trillion times faster than traditional computers. What is really dangerous about them is that they could render current encryption useless. So any nation that really develops quantum computing at scale could break the encryption of all other businesses, nations, security systems, security services, and so on. It can also give us amazing leaps forward in using artificial intelligence to make our computers even more powerful and create machine learning algorithms that are beyond what we can do today. And there's a lot of money going on a country-wide level, especially in China, Russia, and the US, where we're trying to create quantum computers that are really working. We'll see more progress in green technology. This is something that is probably the biggest challenge the world is facing at the moment. We need to put brakes on our carbon emissions and tackle global warming and the climate crisis. And there is progress there, especially around green hydrogen, which is super exciting technology. And what I'm excited about is creating smaller nuclear reactors that can give us a more decentralized power grid. At the moment, everything is centralized, fed by huge gas and power and coal power stations, maybe big nuclear stations that are very old. With these small nuclear reactors, we can have a completely decentralized town or a factory environment. And then we're making progress on nuclear fusion, which could give us much more interesting power that is much more sustainable. Robots will become more human in both capability and looks. Robots are becoming more dexterous, they look like us. We now have these humanoid robots. Tesla is working very hard on their Optimus Tesla bot that could potentially be a servant in our houses, or could work in warehouses and business environments. And we will have to get used to having more humanoid and more capable robots alongside us as humans. We make more progress in autonomous systems. We're seeing this particularly around delivery and in factories and warehouses, where they now become completely autonomous. We will have more self-driving robots, more self-driving deliveries, trucks, ships, and completely autonomous dark factories. And there will be a lot of progress. Lots of these things are being built at the moment, and in 2023 we will see them in operation. And then finally, we'll see a push towards more sustainable technology. All this tech that we're consuming and we've become addicted to, we need to think about where these components are coming from, where some of these rare earth components are coming from for our phones, for our computer chips, and also how we are consuming this. We are now using cloud services like Spotify and Netflix, but they are still run in huge data centers that consume vast amounts of energy. What we're seeing in 2023 is a push towards making this more transparent, looking at supply chain in tech, looking at more green cloud computing that is driven by sustainable technology and is more energy efficient. So this is something we'll see. As I said, there's so much more. There are other really important emerging trends I haven't covered here. If you want to learn more, subscribe to my channel and have a look at my podcast or my books, Business Trends and Practice and Tech Trends and Practice. Business Trends and Practice just won the 2022 Business Book of the Year award.